G'day, champions. See if it's working. Excuse me. Just about to start stream and I end up choking on coffee. Isn't that fantastic? So, what are we doing today? Back from holidays. Sort of still on holidays, but I'm doing some work behind the scenes and back in town. But I'm not at the shop. I won't be until Monday. So I'm doing some well overdue work. Going through, as I said in the title, KiCAD hell. So here we are. Here's an amp design I'm working on for a customer. I shouldn't have said yes to this. I actually really discouraged him from taking on this job, but he was quite insistent that he was happy to wait, and it's been about 6 months from when he first approached me, I believe, and here we are. We're at a circuit board design. So the briefing for this one was he wanted a clean channel. It was like everyone wants this, but it's a clean channel that's like an AB763, slightly scooped, sort of crystal clean sound, negative feedback, long tail pair phase inverter, basically the vibe channel of a deluxe reverb, a twin, whatever, and then a drive channel which was like a pushed custom voiced tweed, like a 5E3. With a cathode ion phase inverter. You wanted it to get real messy if you push it, and sort of the nice squashy overdrive. And then fit all of this, foot switchable, into a deluxe style cabinet. Now to do that, we've outgrown the normal chassis by not much, because we're not using a rectifier valve. So we've got, you can see this big honking resistor over here. I'm going to play with the value on that to determine what it is. A lot of this is complete guesswork in terms of values at the moment, because I need to see how the amp reacts when it's actually under load and all of that fun stuff. So there will be some development continuing after it's been even built, which is very time consuming, which is part of the reason I didn't want to do it, because if you actually charge by the hour for this, it would be like a $15,000 amp. And I'm not joking. But he's getting out of it for less than $4,000, which is kind of ridiculous. So I will not be doing this again, ever. It'll be a matter of, here's an amp, I built it, you can buy it or you can not buy it. But I won't be doing custom builds in the future, ever. Because they're just way too time consuming, and there's no traction there. So you put all this developmental work into this one product, you sell the one product, and then there's no recurring income from it unless you make more of them. Making more of them's fine. Providing people want that, but if the needs are very customized, then the chances of someone else wanting that exact thing are pretty slim. In this case, I think I might make 2 of these, because it is a kind of cool concept. I wouldn't mind having one around. But yeah, there's a lot of work involved, and it's sort of it's got the character of each amp, but it's not. Well, I've had to make some compromises to make it happen, right? To make it actually producible. So it's not going to be exactly like a 5E3, and it's not going to be exactly like an AB763. It's kind of impossible to have that without exponentially increasing the complexity of the thing, which is not practical to do, particularly in this form factor, but more particularly for that budget. So, because we're in Australia, everything's expensive and everyone's broke. So, it's a bit shit, which is part of the reason I got post-holiday depression, because I want to go back to Japan. Because Australia sucks a bit, to be honest. Anyway, I'm working. We're pretending it's COVID again this week, because this is our office. Michelle's working from home behind me here, and this was how he spent from what was it? From 2020 to 2022. When I forget, I can't even remember the thing. It's all a big haze. Anyway, So how are we all? I did get a few cool things from Japan, not as much as I hoped. I hoped to find a lot of musical instruments that were good, but there was kind of no real bargains over there, to be honest, anymore. From what's been, well, from what Six tells me, a couple of years ago, it was ripe for the picking, whereas now market's a little bit cheaper than here, but for import stuff, it's kind of not worthwhile. So anything US made, it's not really worthwhile. Anything from Japan itself, you can get some bargains, but a lot of the stuff that they had to import anyway, it's kind of not really worth bringing back. I mean, you got to remember the postage is free because I'm jamming it in a suitcase, but Michelle came home with a fuck ton of just cigars and shit for the kids, which we can't make money on, so we should charge them. Can we charge the kids? Can we get them to mow the lawn for us and stuff?
We had one birthday present. The rest of it was mine. No.
Michelle brought lots of, what did you get? KiCADs.
Yeah.
What have they got? Hang on, I'll have a look. So we got some wasabi flavored KitKats. It's going to be interesting. I should try one now. And Shinsu apple, whatever that is. Let's try a wasabi flavored KitKat. I was going to do some productive things during this stream, but we'll do that after a wasabi flavored KitKat. Your video may be frozen. Your video may be frozen. Reset your browser. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's the burn. It's definitely horseradish or something. Can't read the ingredients because it's all in Japanese. I'm working on it, but I haven't got the kanji down yet. Let me have a look. Google Translate. Come on, you piece of shit. Start up. Oh, it's decided it doesn't like my fingerprint now. Oh yeah, you've got a power bill to pay, and tax is due, and rent is due, and electricity is due at the shop. What? Google, because I work in Emu Plains, Google's trying to get me to review KFC Emu Plains, even though I've never stepped foot in the shithole. Because it sensed that I'm there. Stupid thing. What was I doing? Oh yeah, Google Translate. Let's see if it's got horseradish in it. No. Oh yeah, no, it's actual wasabi powder. Shit. Because over here, if you get something that's wasabi flavored, it's just horseradish with green coloring. Do you want to try one of them, babe? There you go. It's very mild. It's not like, doesn't make your eyes water or anything. It's actually not bad, eh? White chocolate. Let's try the apple one. Have a break, have a Kit Kat. Well, it looks like the slogan is a universal thing. Oh, you can smell the apple as soon as you open it. Oh yeah, that's dark chocolate. Generally, I don't like apple flavored things unless they're apple. But that's not bad. Try that one. You smell it, it's real strong, eh?
It smells like apple cider. double shot.
Is your video cleaned up there, Wes? I'm not showing any drop frames here, which is a fresh change from trying to stream in Japan. I really thought the internet would be top notch over there. I think it is. I think it's the app that was playing up, but then 6 has played up as well. So the screen looks a little green. I think I've got to play with the white balance. Anyway, you really like the video from Skytree? Yes, it was amazing. That was it really made you aware of the scale of the city being up there. It was quite intense. Let me just adjust that. Looking a bit green. A bit more neutral. Looks better. Ah, you recycled the tab. Chuck it in the bin. Yeah, I wanted to do a lot more videos from just like lives, not live streaming, just walking videos, but I didn't really, at the start, I didn't want to leave Michelle by herself. I wanted to hang out with her. And well, you start talking and stuff, and you sort of you end up talking over the video. I wanted to just have some like silent walking videos. Yeah. But hey, Dr. Gear, how you going, buddy? We caught up over there. We had a great time. I hope he edits that video soon of our tour of Yamaha and Hamamatsu, as well as just walking around Hamamatsu. Hamamatsu was a really cool place, and it's the only place I can understand the Japanese writing of the town. Hamamatsu. I'm learning hiragana. I'm not very good. I think my accent has been pretty reasonable though when I was over there, because I started talking and people just started blasting off full speed like fluent Japanese at me. They're like, "Oh, you can speak Japanese," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 not that good. Just a chisai Nihonjin." Always amazed how clean Japan is. Not in the morning. It's not, Wes. Where were we? Was that Osaka? We got up real early. No. Where was the 1,000 Gates? Kyoto. We got up real early there and to try and beat the crowds, because you go there and it's just the thing's flooded with tourists. I can't complain about tourists. I am one. But not going to be one of those cringy people that complains about tourists when they are one. But we wanted to get there and maybe get a photo before the place was overrun. We ended up getting up, what, 6 a.m.? We left at 6, so we got up at like 5 a.m. And the streets are not clean at 5 a.m. It was a weekend too. I think that was a Friday or Saturday morning. I think it was Saturday or Sunday morning. So what I mean is the night before was a party night. And yeah, there was shit everywhere and the bins overflowing and piled up, but they get out there pretty quickly and clean that shit up. So in some areas, in the touristy areas they do. In the back streets in the rural areas, the locals tend to take care of it themselves. But yeah, in the morning it's not as clean as you'd imagine. Just trying to find some photos here. We'll have a photo stream. Have I not uploaded them? Oh, that's the wrong camera. No, I haven't uploaded the photos yet, but oh, there's one. Those things, when I say the 1,000 Gates, they're like shrine gatey things. Shrine gatey things. Those things. That's when we were waiting for people to walk past. But anyway, it was good fun. Very cheap compared to here. And that's part of the reason coming back's not real fun because all of a sudden, instead of paying $2 for a beer, you're paying 15 or 18. I get a drinking problem. It's more of a problem here. I didn't find I drank more over there. Like, I know we were on holidays, but
if we lived there and that, then you would have a drinking problem.
well, the self-limiting thing is that the beers aren't very good. They're cheap, but they're not. Like, our beers here are fucking world class. Over there, they're just lagers made by large corporations. We went to some breweries. Six and I and Shell went to Octagon Brewing in Kyoto, down the end of that street I was talking about. And there was a few other breweries we went to that some of them are a little bit more Western style. So clearly they're trying to tap into that tourist market that wants something they're comfortable with. I don't understand that. You go over there to experience the culture, not to feel like you're sitting in an Irish pub, but at least you know you can get a Guinness there. So anyway, just looking back at the chat. How you going, Scotty? You sell those PCBs for those who might be interested in building one themselves. What are you talking about? The one I'm designing? Let me test it first. I think there might be some fuckery involved in making it behave itself, and just making sure the layout's good. I hate doing PCB layouts, particularly complex stuff, because you never know if you've baked in some, proximity thing that's going to cause oscillation or something. This is a relatively low gain amp, so I think we should be fine. But yeah, you're really flying without a net when you've got a PCB. Just do what David Eden does and just chop the thing and put about 500 fly wires under the board to fix your layout errors. But I'd like to be a bit more professional than that, if that tag could ever apply to me. You're loving the Princeton Reverb store, things to sort out, but it's working and sounding sweet. What do you got to sort out there, Scotty? Is that just a slight hum? Because I think we can introduce another bias supply filter stage there, and that will sort that out. I don't think we've got a ground loop anywhere. Well, if you follow my layout, you don't have any ground loops anywhere. Simple as that. Jace was just on Tone Talk, was he? Was he on with Shay from Monomyth? Or have they just put a stream up that I didn't notice? Don't know. My color balance was fine. Thanks, Six. Maybe it's just my shitty screen. Lenovo piece of shit. Yeah, so Six is back as well, and he also is feeling the... Wow, how much does Australia suck? I got a good friend from New Zealand who married a Japanese lady and they live in Nagoya. He loves it there, yeah. I got a drinking problem. I can't afford to drink. That's why you moved to Japan, Victor. Literally. I don't drink this stuff because it's just blended whatever, but Shell's brother likes it, Crown Royal, and that was, I think, Dimebag's favourite as well, Crown Royal. What was that, like 20-something bucks? Over here, it's, what is it? Let's have a look. Yeah, well, you can't get it anywhere here, which is a bigger thing. Trust Matt to bloody... to love the booze that you can't get anywhere. So over here, it's 80 bucks. 80, 90, 100, 150. But yeah, the average price is about 80 bucks over here. So that's fun. Let's do a whiskey show and tell, shall we? Please note that none of these are open. Yeah, Crown Apple is really good. I think you can get the Apple one over here, but he doesn't like that one, so. What do we get? The Lefroy quarter cask. That was about 60 bucks. Over here, it's 150 or something ridiculous. Fuji single malt. That was a whiskey club offering for $130. From there, I think it was $38 or $40. So fuck the whiskey club. Fuck them in their stupid expensive ass. Lagavulin 16. You can't get that over here for less than about 200, 220. If you can get it, it always goes out of stock and stays out of stock in the empty spots on the shelf for like 6 months. That was 115. Actually, that was including tax, so it's even less than that. Because yeah, we did the tax-free thing. Jaliska 10. It's $110 over here. Over there, it was 40 or 45 or something. So, you know, worth it. We actually could have got one more bottle, but we were that loaded up. Should have squeezed one into my backpack.
You can take it on the plane.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In addition to that, I also got some cigarillos. Monte Cristo and Cohiba. Now, we went to the tobacconist. The guy behind the counter spoke a little English, but not much. That's where you always get the good prices at the place where they barely speak English too, because it's not as popular with the tourists. Tourists are used to paying expensive, exorbitant amounts in their stupid Western countries like Australia, so they price for tourists accordingly. What was I saying? Yeah, tobacconist. So he goes, where are you from? And I'm like, Watashi wa Australia jin, Australia shishin desu. Sorry, I'm already getting rusty. And he goes, Australia. I hear tobacco is very expensive over there. I go, yes. I say, see that pack that you got there for like $4? At home, that's like $58. So it was like, yeah, 400 yen, which is $4 Australian. Over here, that's like 50, 60 bucks for a pack of smokes. Fucking ridiculous, but I guess they're trying to make everyone not smoke, so they just smoke anyway and go broke, which is fun. Wild turkey can be a creeper buzz. What, you mean like it gets you pissed before you realise? Maybe that's my brother's problem. He loves wild turkey. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. I'm not a fan of most bourbons. I don't know. They just leave a bit of a dry, sort of chalky taste in my mouth. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the charcoal thing. But I prefer whiskies over like silkier mouthfeel. There's a few that I didn't mind, like I think Book and No, but it's expensive. What's the other one? Knob Creek is not bad. Smoking is bad for you. Yes, it is, which is why I have a cigar maybe once a month. Yeah, Victor's got a good tip on cigars there too, don't you, mate? Righto. Well, what are we doing then? I guess we better do some stuff instead of talking. So over here, I'm working on the layout. So generally when you start a layout, I wonder if I can show you this easily. Not really. But when you start with, I'm just worried I might destroy my project if I show you. I've just saved, so let's just make everything, hide all layers. This is KiCAD, by the way. And then we'll re-enable copper, front and back. Then we'll turn off tracks. No, we'll turn on tracks, turn off veers and pads. Actually turn on veers. Delete them. Now that's our rat nest, they call it. So when we make pads visible again and show all layers, this is how it looks once you've decided how you're going to lay the parts out, right? But Auto place footprints. So this is KiCAD doing its best to place the components optimally, and it does a terrible job. Because it doesn't know what your signal lines need to be near or any of that. It doesn't know about, you know, ground currents. It can't figure any of that stuff out. It's just trying to make the shortest line to each net, and everything's attached to ground. So in its opinion, it just wants anything that's attached to ground to be as close to ground as possible, even if it's right next to something that's inducing a shit ton of noise. So auto placing's off limits. And not only that, but it didn't actually do this when I first placed the components on the board. It didn't even try. It just sat there and put them all in the corner. We'll see how it does. Let's see what the rat's nest looks like once it's auto placed. KiCAD's free. Any of you can download it. Save as, no thanks. I do have a backup version, but I've done some refinement to it since. So I'll be closing this without saving, because that is extremely dangerous. Days of work. Balcones is a good brand. I did like that very much, actually, Dustin. Isn't it a single malt whiskey though? It's not really a bourbon per se. I think they do a bourbon, but I think they do a single malt. Okay, so you can see there, our rat's nest is actually way worse with the auto placing. I reckon it would be probably impossible to make that work with a double-sided board without link wires, and that's what we want to try and avoid. So let's see what it looks like with a 3D viewer. So that's cool. It's got a pretty even component distribution there. They're just green because I got them selected. Ignore that. Well, let's get rid of that. Hang on. So that's cool, but now it's also not taking into account that I want that resistor mounted off board. I want a chassis mounted resistor screwed to the end of the chassis. Sorry. Also, that's probably going to be a bit in the way of the pots if we want to remove the panel. This is going to be in a deluxe style chassis, a little bit longer, but if we want to remove the board to work on the bottom of it, I want to be able to undo the pots, fling them down a little bit, and then swing the whole board out, and that cap will prevent us from doing that, as will probably that resistor and that cap. So that was my layout. You can see that the rat's nest looks much less scary. See that one? Looks fucked. Then that's my one. Looks better. 3D viewer. Fuck, I've done it again. Unselect. All right, so you can see there's going to be enough room to get those pots out, swing them down a bit, enough to get the shafts through the front. There's another, say, ½ inch to the chassis, and then the pots are mounted on that, so we should have plenty of room there. I've aligned all the tall caps. This is only showing an indication of what they are. I think I checked, and that height, there are some available, nice and small. But yeah, we have to sort of account for contingency and plans for component availability in the future. So I've gone with a rather large footprint for things like caps. So if we do find another one that will fit the bill, it's got more of a chance of fitting in that footprint, even if it is a little taller. We've got plenty of room in height because I'm only going to mount that about 1/4 inch off the chassis, something like that. It's going to be 2mm fiberglass with 2-ounce copper on both faces. So let's re-put our tracks back in. That was my layout that I decided was about as good as I can get it. I'm still going to go through and refine some stuff. There's things like, okay, that track's got to pass that track, so let's make it on the front, on the back, sorry, and then that one's got to be on the front, which means that locks that one into being on the back then. And then it's got to pass here. But if it gets too complex, you might find, well, hang on, this is all hinging on the fact that that one's blue. So if I change that to red and then all the others to blue, we might fix a problem somewhere else, but then you fix that problem and 2 other problems arise that you didn't think about. So it's not really fun unless you're doing it in your spare time. What's the matter? So then you got to do a thing where we put a via, and that is like a hole plated through that goes to the other side of the board, and you can pass the trace on the back of the PCB stops there, and it ends with a via. And then on the via on the other side, it starts with a track on the front of the PCB. So that's how you can get it. Almost like links back in the day of single-sided boards. You probably worked on old hi-fi stuff and musical instrument stuff where there's a shit ton of link wires everywhere. And that's the old school version of doing this. Generally, you try and avoid it as much as you can, but you get to a certain level of complexity where you really can't go any further, and you've got to pass something to the other side of the board. It's kind of, I feel like I'm not very good at board layout. I'm not sure that I ever will be unless I keep doing it, and there's no money in doing this, so I probably won't pursue it as much as I wish I could, because in this day and age, you have to pay rent and you have to do whatever it takes to pay rent, and it's shit, but it's how it is. And doing board layout will not pay my rent, so yeah. So multi-level PCBs, if you're going to do the step up, it's like a 4-layer PCB. There's a lot of compromises you're going to have to make there as well. If something happens to a trace, like it shorts out, it burns a trace, it's happened inside the board, so now you've got to throw that board in the bin or know exactly where it is and link it manually with wire. But not only that, it's probably carbonized the inside of the board. Now they might be conductive to other traces or the traces on either face of the board. For an amplifier, I don't think more than 2 layers is necessary. If you're doing that, you probably discard changes. You probably just better work on your layout a bit. Yeah. All right, so we're back to my version. I want to go through and refine some stuff. So you can see here I've got the main buses going up here. I probably want to make that cap a larger one just to separate it away from these traces a bit more, because that's got like I think that's a 1 mil gap to that pad. So I probably want to get that pad a bit further away. You can change your net classes and make things real far apart. You can see that circle around there is showing our... Let's get rid of the silk screen. It's annoying. You can see there, that's the margin around that pad. And there's a margin around each trace as well. So if I was to try and move that one too close to that one, it won't let me, because I've set the margin to 1 millimeter. Beats accounting. Does it though, Wes? Send it your way. You've designed maybe 200 PCBs. Fuck, really? I'm not going to make you do free work for me, Alex, and I can't afford to pay you, so no. Pro board layers can make 6 figures pretty easily, just boring as shit. Yeah, well, they're working for big companies, but... Look, if I was really good at it, I'd enjoy it, but I'm not, and I'm sick of feeling dumb every day, so I kind of want to get this one done and then go back to simpler designs. The complexity with this amp, and part of the problem with the layout, is because it's 2 independent channels. I don't want you to do it for free, Alex. You're not doing it for free. No. The complexity of this is because it's got 2 channels all the way up to 2 different phase inverters. So that's got 3 different triodes with between 2 phase inverters feeding the same output stage. Really, this probably should have been 2 separate amps, just foot switchable, you know, right? But hey, tis what tis. So yeah, the problem is you got to preamp up this end, so that's your clean channel, and then you got, see, little signal trace runs all the way along here, and you got your 1 nano to the phase inverter input for the long-tailed pair, and that's the long-tailed pair here, and all of the associated components, and then that's your cathodion over here and your associated components, right? So you've got AB763, 2 stages, and that outputs through that cap, then out here. So that's jumping all the way from here over to the long tail pair over there. Then you got your 3 triodes of your 5E3 here, and then that jumps over to the cathodion over here. So yeah, the layout's not brilliant. Whereas I feel very dumb every day, and that's part of the post-holiday depression thing. So I'm trying to learn Japanese. I'm still trying to learn electronics. I know enough to get by with repair, but when it comes to design, it's a whole other board game. Trying to learn KiCAD, trying to learn guitar, trying to learn fucking how to run a small business, everything all at once. It's so fun. Trying to learn how to survive in Australia. Oh, stop it, she says. So anyway, these net classes, go up to the board setup. You could never be as dumb as I am, so don't worry. Shut up, 6. You told me heaps of stuff while I was over there that I didn't know. We found the coolest bar. Let's see if I can find it. Hang on. Let me just find the photo. I thought I copied all my photos to the hard drive, but I might be wrong. Might be on my phone, which means it'll never be found. Just get into some of that nice affordable whiskey you've got there. Post-holiday depression will sort itself out. I actually looked into, you know, how do you get out of a funk you're in after holidays, and they said do not drink alcohol. So there goes that idea, Dustin. I can't say I agree with them 100% there, but yeah. Young? Am I Wes? Just turned 40, mate. Not that young. File Explorer. I was contacted by a recruiter in Sydney wanting me to move there for a movie. You can stay at my place if you want, Wes, until you find a joint. The rent here is fucking ridiculous, though. You'll need 2 jobs to pay it, so part of the reason we're still living here, and it's not, I mean, it's a good place, but it's pretty old, it's falling apart. But part of the reason we live here is just because the rent's good, and the rent literally anywhere else, like even some shithole shack, would be probably 50 to 75% more expensive. Did you hear that? That's Michelle's weird hiccup, whatever it is, thing that she does that is unexplainable. She only started doing it after she met me, apparently. I gotta say though, being in Japan, we got so much exercise, man. I lost just over 2 kilos. Shell lost 4 kilos. We did like 40,000 steps a day some days. So much exercise, and you don't eat much. The first thing I noticed coming back here is just like we eat a lot of carbs and shit because it's easy and we're lazy. So we'll eat bread and sandwiches and shit. Over there, it's kind of, it is a thing, but you tend to eat tiny amounts and they keep you going. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that, I don't know. I think over here, a lot of the time while I'm working, eating is a way of procrastinating before doing something you don't want to do. When you're on holidays, you just, everything you want to do is everything you're doing is what you want to do. So $600 a week for a 1-bedroom shoebox is what we pay. Yeah, that's fucked. I don't think I really got the shits at Australia until I looked at like Japanese real estate not far from city centres. And the thing is, you can be far from a city centre, and the public transport's so good it doesn't matter. You just jump on a train and you're in the city 20 minutes later. Michelle got stranded in Sydney last night, or where was it? Penrith? No, Kingswood. Where'd you get stranded? Last night when you were on the train and you got stuck. Where were you? Kingswood?
Just outside of Penrith, yeah.
Penrith, yeah. What time was that?
I'm going to Penrith 5:45.
So,
5:45.
So this is like peak hour, and you can't get a train home from Sydney.
Well, you can. You just had mechanical problems.
Had mechanical issues.
I'd rather it stop than, you know.
Fuck it. Just derail a bastard. They go slow enough, it won't hurt anyone. So yeah, point being, public transport over there is fantastic, and over here it's dog shit. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, the test gear themed bar where they were kind of not friendly, but still. So there's a Macintosh 275 with a Macintosh something or other under it as well, with a turntable under that. These were their little pretend test gear Bluetooth speakers made by Kyoritsu, which is pretty cool. So the story with this place, it's called Bar Gauge or Gauge Bar or something, and it's attached to a test gear refurbishment and retail store. They just sell test gear, like HP Heaven up the front, all Fluke stuff, and Kyoritsu and Keithley, all the top end stuff, right? I almost bought a 6.5 digit multimeter there, benchtop, but I ended up finding one on eBay in Sydney that I ordered. Actually, that should be turning up today or tomorrow. Forget the number, but yeah, it was a HP something or other, or Agilent. But anyway, these guys bought the bar next door, or built a bar next door, and it's a test gear themed bar and restaurant. But they weren't very friendly to foreigners, despite being in the middle of friggin' Akihabara? No. Yeah, Akihabara. They even had a like an Edison roll player there. Pretty crazy stuff. And this was on the street. That's their display open to the street, foot traffic. Bar Gauge, there it is. But yeah, if you wanted to eat there, you had to call ahead and get a booking, which we didn't. And that's what we're all about in Akihabara. But yeah, that was pretty cool. If you checked out the video I did, edited together in Akihabara, sorry. That's shows you the guts of one of the electronics markets there, and I found two others which were high-rise buildings with tons of shit in them. Just amazing stuff over there. I don't know how much longer it'll be like that though. That's when we emerged from a rail tunnel to see Mount Fuji. It certainly is something to behold. See, how good would it be to live there? Problem is I can't speak Japanese yet. Random bonsai on the street. That's their cool little manhole covers. Kind of artistic. Hamamatsu. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, you all saw this. The engine fuel the dream. That's a can of gin. Sorry, I was looking for something. Oh yeah, the Yamaha thing. Museum, I'm trying to say. No, that was breakfast. I missed a minute. That's a Australian key cutting and shoe repair shop. They have a chain of stores over there, which is pretty cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, this is what I was looking for. Yamaha Museum. Massive xylophone. They made everything. Look, 1935, they made culture chair. It's a rocking chair and a table. Reed organ. So this is where it all began. That was their first production model, I believe. Yamaha's first organ manufactured soon after the company was founded. The front surface features a gold painted geometric pattern that resembles a crane among clouds. And that was 1880. And they've still got one here. Pretty cool. So this is what we videoed, Six and I, and he's going to edit that together, aren't you, mate? And look, this one even has built-in lighting. Look. Can't zoom because Windows. Why can't I zoom? There's no zoom in this program. Fuck me. Player piano. You gonna ring him? Triple M. Michelle's going in a competition to get tickets to London to see AC/DC. There's a massive, one of those massive polystyrene cone speakers that are terrible. No answer?
I was already engaged.
Ah. That thing was massive. It took a whole room. You can actually sit and play it. Random drum kit. We go over all this in the video. This was a piano that, hang on, Six was playing, where it's cut in half. Showing the mechanism. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Little half piano. How cool is that? I didn't take a lot of photos there. I should have taken more, but for some reason I didn't take my friggin' camera. I don't know. I assumed Six would have like the world's best camera, so I think that's the same video. This was their weird virtual reality band. The player piano. Copyright strike. File cannot be opened because device is in use. It's not really. Okay, it's just decided it doesn't want to view anything on my phone now. See the shit I got to deal with every day? Nothing works. It's 2024. They can fucking fix Voyager, which is 46 million kilometers away, but they can't make a phone that stays connected to a fucking computer for more than 5 minutes. Yes, I know. Why do you... Too hard. Anyway. Back to this bullshit. So that there is a pull switch. I really should have labeled everything a bit better. Got to go back to the schematic. That one there is a send and return for an effects loop, which is another thing that this amp probably shouldn't have, but your customer insisted on. So I'll label that. And then if I update that from schematic, is it going to ruin everything else? Probably. Let's have a look. Nope. Nothing changed. Good. So that there just gets linked if you just want a normal non-effects loop thing. Now there's a pot here, which may or may not get used. That's a master volume, but it's a pre-phase inverter master volume, so not incredibly useful. There is also down here a provision for a post-phase inverter cross-line master volume. Now, if it was my amp, I'd link that together, ignore that pot, and then run your cross-line from there. That's your master volume for only the Tweed channel. So the AB763 channel does not have a master volume because it's a clean channel. You don't need it. But the Tweed channel has a cross line before the relay, which switches between the two phase inverters. So yeah, pretty complex for a Fender tone. But the only way to do this otherwise is to have two separate amps. So I got the idea of switching between the phase inverters from the okay, with the center button on my mouse has failed too. That's fun. I got the idea from the orange AD30, but it just has two long tail pairs. Jerry, going to see AC/DC in London from Australia is kind of like taking Cole to Newcastle thing, yeah. Sending the iron ore to China for processing, then buying it back again. Someday I will own a Yamaha C7. VLC, mate. What are you talking about? Mixed a show the other day, and the backline kit was an 80s Yamaha Tour Custom, big 12, 13, 16 power toms. Yeah, they sound good, don't they? I've got a Yamaha kit. It was just one of the, I think it was made in Taiwan. Manhole covers in my town just say sewer. Not quite as flash. When I was in Japan, there were bars that foreigners could go in. Oh, you can go in any bar, Victor. Just some of them just not very accommodating. Like you can either speak Japanese or you can fuck off, which is fine. They're usually the best ones. So you just speak enough to get by. But hopefully I'll be able to speak more next time I go there. I've been practicing it every night. I can't even remember words. If you're as old as you feel, I died 6 years ago. I was surprised they had old gear in Japan. Yeah, Japan doesn't throw anything out, man. Like, when we went to all the hard offs, so it was so full of junk. Is that an SM57 mic picking up her voice from there? That's pretty clear without any gain noise. There's some slight compression on it, Max. But yeah, so it's just an old school 57 that I had lying around. Not buying a bloody new mic just for streaming. The condo I just sold was 417 grand for 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1 parking space. Fuck, that's good, Victor. 417 grand gets you a parking space here. And that's like anywhere. If you're going to buy a 2-bedroom house for 417, you will be in the fucking middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. And you might get one for that. Because the thing with Australia is even in more rural areas, a lot of them are near a mining centre. So there'll be nothing there, but there's plenty of money because of all the fly in, fly out fuckheads that earn a shit ton of money mining minerals. My uncle had a punch on with Malcolm and George back when they were living in Villawood Hostel. Wow. I'm sure there's plenty of stories like that. They were very wild boys. AC/DC hasn't lived in Australia since 1976. Yeah, I think they got holiday homes here and shit. But yeah, Germany was like that. If you tried to speak German to a German, then they were quite happy to speak to you in English. But if you just didn't even try, they just ignored you. They just, whatever, fuck off. Some of them were like very complimentary about Japanese, but they all say that because it's such a slightly falsely polite society. Oh, yeah, Japanese is really good. No, no, it's not. No, it's not, mate. I know it's not. You don't have to. Alex, you think you've mentioned it more than once before. Yeah, you probably have, but my memory is like a goldfish. So, all good, mate. Alex, shove some of your layouts. I feel like this is too messy. So if I change that to blue, then I can change that to red, then I can change that to blue, then I can change that to red. So let's do that. And that way there's one less veer. I don't know why. Having veers just feels like admitting defeat. Okay, so if I change that, leave nets unchanged. I don't want to fuck with the nets. Change that to red, which is, so when I say red, that's the front face, the top face of the board. Change that to top face. Change that to top face. Then that can now be bottom face. Oh, wait. No, I fucked myself again. See what I mean? So now that would need to be top face. But then that would fuck with that trace, and that trace goes across all of them. So yeah, it's like a fucking puzzle that doesn't have a solution. So that's got to stay like that. It's highly annoying. I think I'm just going to have to live with a million fears. All right, Alex has just sent me a Google Drive. Let me just go to site. Oh, I can't see your traces because you got a ground plane. I can't see any traces there, Alex. All I'm seeing is a big red ground plane. How do you go with just using the ground plane as a ground bus? Wouldn't you end up with ground loops and shit everywhere, like and ground currents not being where you want them to be? I see you've got some decent margins there to the high tension stuff. I better show the thing, eh? So that's the Origin 20 board. You just completed that, didn't you? Oh, you got high tension on a relay. Is that going to be okay? Have you tested this yet? Very nice, but I'm not buying an Origin. Well, I think it would be vastly improved with this. So you're going cathode bias there, I assume, looking at the... I can't see pin 1. I can't determine a lot from this because it's pretty low resolution, but this is just a PDF. Just send me a PDF without the ground plane. If you've got one. Don't make one just for me. We've got 35 viewers. Hello, 35 viewers. How you going, legends? This is my little control panel that you get. I don't think there's anything incriminating on here. Chat rate. Oh, come on, guys. Pick up your game, would you? Views. Overall views, concurrent views. So that's showing you the live amount of views. This is showing you the accumulated views. Anyway, you didn't come here for an education on YouTube, did you? Check Messenger. Okay, I will. Sell it to Marshall, Alex. They need some help. Nope. They'll stubbornly refuse anything you send them. Ah, it's more like it. I saw that meme. Not listening.
What?
I said I saw that meme earlier on just Facebook.
Speaks to me.
It speaks to me. Sorry, guys, just responding to stuff. Right. That's a pretty good layout there, Alex. See how much simpler his looks than mine? Of course, mine's like 2 amps in one in a much smaller board. Oh, it's not. Probably about similar surface area. It's like 70 mil wide, so the same width as like a standard turret board for a deluxe, but it's 300 mil long. Whereas a standard deluxe is 2 foot. So it's only 60 mil longer than a 5E3. Same width, and there's 2 amps in one. So I guess that's why it's a bit complex looking. But you look at that, it doesn't look crowded. It looks very, very simple. And he's even got the valves mounted to the board, which actually kind of makes the layout a bit easier. Not in terms of mechanically getting it right, because that's even harder, because you've got to get them to line up with all the holes in the pre-existing chassis. But because I've gone with mine and just put all the pads down the bottom to solder directly to each triode, that's fucked with the layout a little bit as well, because you've got all your controls up the top, and then you've got all your valves at the bottom. Yeah. Oh, hey Brad, I'm releasing a new track from a songwriter I'm producing hopefully in the next week. Sweet, Wes. Well, you've got a little spanner next to your name, and that means you can put links up for everyone to go check out. Are they on Bandcamp or something like that, where they can contribute some cash to them? Hasn't Jason with Head First been doing mods with Origins with good results? Yeah, well, that's what Alex is associated with. See the Evolve DIY written on the circuit boards? Head First is now, he's split it up. So Head First is the amplifier manufacturing entity, company, whatever you want to call it. Internationally manufacturing them. I believe he still manufactures in Australia, but I think most of the production has gone to the States since he's sort of broken the market a bit with some famous people getting his amps, which is kind of all it takes. So he's split, understandably, pretty smart move, is split the DIY and part side into a different company name, Evolve DIY, because when you think about it, right, anyone could build these things. So you've got, previously he had amplifiers with circuit boards that said Head First amplification on them, built by some dude who may or may not be any good with a soldering iron. So it's kind of got his name on it. Whereas he's put Evolve DIY in the name. So now it's evident, even in the company name, that the construction's nothing to do with him. So yeah, that was my first concern, and I never had a chance to flag it with him, but clearly he was concerned about it too. So needs more fact trolls. Yeah. Let's put in some more obsolete parts. Expensive aftermarket replacement parts. It has cathode / fixed bias switch for with BR fixed bias feed also. I was so close to doing that with this amp too, Alex, but it just added so much complexity to it. Just having it, I originally had a bias supply on the board, so I could use it for future builds and just decide whether or not I want a cathode or fixed bias, or even have a switch. But because it's switching the output of the phase inverter after the phase inverter plate supply on my one, you can just switch the grid leak point from either ground in the case of cathode bias or to the bias supply in case of fixed bias. And I had links in there so you could just reconfigure it. But yeah, it was just way too complex. So I ended up getting rid of that. Now it's just cathode biased. I was trying to do too much at once, man, really. I mean, to be honest, this whole project could have been probably sorted with... Ah, there goes my camera. Hang on. See if any of these are charged. That one's a bit charged. We'll see how she goes. I didn't take this camera for the trip. Probably should have just taken that one. I took the G85. If they bring out a GH7, I'll probably get rid of like literally everything I own and just get one of them. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I just cut it down to cathode biased only. And even that was tough enough to lay out. So I sort of wanted to go for the... I got a little bit inspired by Bruce Egnater's boards. How he lays the components out almost like a Vox. Like a tag board. And he just runs wires to the triodes and the pots. So you can easily replace one, and so you're not dealing with any heat on the board from the valves mounted on the board. Well, this is going to be in like a 5A3 style chassis anyway, so all the valves will be upside down here. All the pots will be upside up here. I've got 2 fuses on the HT, sort of paranoid protection. So even if a diode goes short, it'll just blow the fuse. It won't try and blow the mains fuse if a HT secondary short occurs. Here's our little power supply, which derives the relay supply from the heater supply. Gives you 5 volts. Filtered by that big fucking cap there. And I've just thrown reasonably large film caps everywhere, so if I need to, I've got a wide choice of caps to fit in there instead of sticking to the box caps for everything. What else? Going with 1/2 watt carbon film pretty much everywhere, except for the wire wound power supply ones there. You can see the droppers. I just tried to lay it out so logically. That's the bleeder for this one. Well, for all of them. Put a bleeder resistor in there so it drains the cap when it's not turned on. And then there's your droppers. 1, 2, 3, 4 droppers. 3 relays. That one's switching the input between the 2 channels. This one is switching something. That's the negative feedback. You can see there, that's the negative feedback coming from the 8 ohm tap. So there's negative feedback on the clean channel, but there's no negative feedback on the drive channel. So she acts a bit wilder. And then this is the relay switching the output between the 2 phase inverters. Simplicity is fine for aesthetics, but the question is, how does it work? Don't get too bogged down in how pretty it is. Yeah, I try not to, but generally, the simplicity of the layout also does influence the stability and things like noise performance, crosstalk as well. If you've got too much shit going all over the place, generally it's not optimized. You can always make it simpler. FX loop. What FX loop does it use on that? Is that an LND 150 loop on that one, Alex? Works better than the original board. Well, that ain't hard. It's a weird amp, the Origin. I tried playing through one and I'm like, it's a master volume, but it's not. Like, you pretty much... Oh, here we go. We were just trashing the Origin 20, Lyle. Good timing. It's a weird amp. It's like you got to leave the master fully open, otherwise it sounds shit anyway. So what's the point of having a master volume amp? Like the TMB 18 has more drive than that thing when the master's down. It's a really low gain amp. But then when you turn the master up, so does the distortion. So what's the fucking point of the master volume? So this is another problem. Oh, hey, Mark. That's a Room reference. So that's one of the problems that I did get Lyle to run an eye over this. And he was apprehensive about the master volume on the 5E3 channel, and so am I. But you pretty much need one to use an effects loop because the signal's so high there anyway. You'd have to attenuate it so much for the effects loop and then reboost it so much afterwards that you'd be in noise and oscillation hell. Yeah, it's still not going to be optimal. It's just not a great amp to have an effects loop in the 5E3. So we'll see how it goes, and if it doesn't work, I don't know, I'll make him an FX switcher or something to get around it, because it's kind of baked into this thing now, and all you got to do is short that jumper out, and bam, no effects loop. So video's jumpy. Why is the video jumpy? Shitty capture card, maybe? No, video card. Yeah, the video card doesn't like rendering while I'm, because I got this open. The video card doesn't like rendering while I'm doing graphic stuff because it's 2024. Anyway, that's the design so far. I'm clean and refine it tonight, I think. But I think I need to get out of the house for a bit and do some exercise to try and not think too hard about life. Yeah. I saw that tip using the stereo jack on the high watt, just for a bit of extra tension. Yeah, good move. And Lyle, that is similar to the 100-watt head that I've got. I think I got a bit confused when you said like my one, but I'd never had a 50-watt PCB high watt. At least not that I can remember. But I've got a 100-watt PCB high watt. It's a bit earlier than that one. I think it's an 81. The circuit board's not green. It's like the pale translucent off-white fiberglass. But it's very, very filthy and dirty. I'm pretty much going to have to rip that whole thing apart and clean it up. Anyway, did you finish that one off? Sound samples? I get a few dozen people a week telling me how great the Origin is and how stupid I am. With my JMP 1987 build, when the amp is cranked, the presence squeals when it's set over half. What could the causes be? Cheers from New Zealand. Probably in the past when I've had that, it's just been layout shit. Presence squealing. Just trying to think of the last example I had of that. So the last example I had of that was because someone modded the fuck out of it and there were wires all over the place. Could be grounding. Could be pretty much anything in the output stage I think I'd be looking for around there. But also just make sure you're not sitting right in front of the amp, because those things literally feed back from the output transformer when they're cranked. Maybe you other guys could give some advice on that one too, because I can't remember what it was last time I had it. I recall Howard Dumble modded an amp with a 4-gang impedance switch. What? What for? Just with all the gangs paralleled. I guess you'd have to do that. Oh, you had one a year ago. I watched both videos. Thanks, Lyle. I can't even remember. Let's go have a look, shall we? Through my own YouTube history. And I'll give myself a copyright strike. Here's where you see all the things that I view. Hi, what? Oh, hang on. I've got playlists, don't I? Hi, what? Play all. No, not play all. Hi, what? I mustn't have put it in. I mustn't have put it in the playlist, maybe? Or was that it? No, because that's not circuit board. Oh, hang on. It was the hybrid, sort of hybridy one. Ah. Some high watt 50 here. Was it like this one? This is a bit of a strange one because it's got some circuit boards in it. Yeah, still got the quintessential wiring porn happening down there that everyone loves to see. But yeah, it's got some circuit boards. It's got caps mounted to the chassis instead of the sides of the chassis internally instead of just from the flux, could be from moisture. So all the connections everywhere are suspect. Will 40 years. God, we're getting old. Yep. Not too old to laugh at that. So we'll flicker on with some low level 6. I cracked myself up. What's a power meter doing? Dropping to about just under 50 watts. Once the heaters are warmed up, click on the standby. About 90 watts, bit of leakage there. Terrible playing. Cool. And I did a part 2 on that one too. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so that was a recap. I'll just mute that for a second. I just want to... Oh, did I replace valve sockets? No. Just trying to remember what I did to it. Oh, I tightened up the grill. That's right, I remember doing that. Here we go, proper sound samples. Sounds a bit harsh. Yellow Ledbetter badly renditioned. You can see the camera shaking, how loud it is. Anyway, yeah, I remember the custom now, but I forgot all about that job. Well, there you go. Different filtering. Yeah, the weirdest one was the recent one. So the distributor here for the X distributor for high watt, I get Mark Bass and Ernie Ball, Music Man, through them. They were clearing out the warehouse because they were moving, and they found some new old stock ones that failed under warranty. So I think the story was that they just gave them a new one, and we're going to fix this one up later and sell it as refurbished, or probably sell it as new, but anyway. But they forgot about it for whatever reason, and they found these as new, but have failed for some reason. SA112s in the box, and I made him an offer for him because he said, "Oh, I'll give you the first offer because I know you'll fix them up," and we couldn't be fuck getting them fixed and selling them. So I think I gave him what was kind of fair considering they weren't working. And then one of them, pretty much all that was wrong was a shorted flyback diode. But then I found all this other weird shit in it. So it had, your series reservoir caps, but then it had no balancing resistors on them. So that's kind of sketch. So I installed them. And then there was some other problem in the preamp. And then I had the high watt not long ago from a mate down the road, and he's had that thing for a year, and he's never really been happy with it. It had multiple issues. It was as new condition, The biggest issue though was they got two resistors the wrong way around. So you know their little I probably did a photo of that actually, because I like embarrassing companies when they do dumb shit. Everyone does it to me, so fuck them. Where's the last post entitled High Watt? I'll message you later. High Watt. Yeah, here it is. Pop quiz hot shots. Spot the factory error in this 2023 High Watt DR103 causing horrible waveform and high output instability. That was actually the last amp where the presence control was causing feedback. But probably nothing to do with your amp, whoever asked that. Is negative feedback reversed? Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Clearly looking at the output waveform, listening, or even a cursory voltage measurements are no longer part of the high watt QC process. So this was the output waveform given the input waveform. I think I was measuring that at one of the grids, and that was the output waveform. And it was because those two resistors were in the wrong positions. That one was supposed to be there, that one was supposed to be there. And that one was overheated from another failure. So yeah, that was interesting. Took a bit of finding. You don't instantly assume that is a factory error. And that was the dirty leaky board one, yeah. That was previous, yeah. There was contamination to this tag board. So I cleaned that off, but it looked clean. I don't know what it was. It's like humidity or something. But once I cleaned it, the leakage went away. But then there was this extra problem. So yeah, Mitchell Bullock, pick up your fucking game, son. QC. So once that was sorted, it sounded fantastic. It just had a weird reedy, cardboardy sound to it. But it was producing full output. Or maybe just under. But yeah, people are like, oh, high watt, they're the bee's knees. No, everything's shit these days. You got to double check everything. You can't trust anyone. So, but you know, you say that and everyone says you're cynical, but it's true. I mean, we see it every day. So, what's a factor of 10 between friends? Yeah, that's right. So here's me saying that, will I fuck up this design? So the other thing that worries me a bit is these pads on the G5s are supposed to be 1mm hole size. The pin itself is 0.6mm by 0.3. It must be flat. But I want to change those holes and enlarge the pads as a result too. But changing footprints in KiCAD universally is a fucking nightmare. Everything's read-only and locked, so you got to create your own library, and then you got to reference that to your schematic, and it's just I've got to Google how I do it. Brad, when you get a chance to look at my weird video yesterday, you'll get a giggle from the filtering circuit. Oh no. Put up a link, lol, so everyone else can have a look if they get sick of me. High watts are not subtle. No, they are not. They're very loud, insanely loud. Partially because of the fixed bias fixed bias phase inverter, which I was unaware of until maybe a year or two ago. I never really looked into the phase inverter topology on that, but you know, we live and learn. So I think I want to change that footprint, make it a bit further apart to keep those lines a bit more separated. I don't like how much this is getting close because that's the positive and negative rails. That's why I use Altium Designer. Ooh, sorry. Not everyone can have a free license from work, Alex. All right, so now if I change this footprint here and then I go back and change something else in the schematic and then update the PCB from schematic, that will revert back to the cap that it's originally got. So it'll be a big waste of time. So to do it properly, this is literally why it's time consuming. I've got to go over here. I've got to start. Run footprint assignment tool. Run that. It's C4 we're looking at. So find C4. That's the footprint assigned to it. So I want one with a 15 mil hole spacing. So I've got to go down here, not connector, capacitor through hole. And then I want to choose, let's choose the same one I've used for the 100 nano. Just copy that, paste that, save, minimize that, update from changes made to schematic, update PCB. Now it's a big cap. Close, move this trace down, move that trace away a bit. Hope they're not sensitive to each other. Look into that later. The thing that shits me with KiCAD is if I want to change this, I click on it once. It works, but you got to wait a second. Otherwise it creates a window. If I click straight away and then go to move it, it won't do anything. But then if you double click, it's okay if you're slow, but if I go, now it brings up the properties. It's pretty annoying. That's just me having a whinge. Let's get this trace away from it. Nope, see, it does it again. It's a little bit finicky. Let's just try and simplify it. I want it to be an Alex tier design, this one. Not a Brad tier design. So now that's fucked up that trace, so we'll just move that one and drag it down there. The other thing that shits me, there may be a way around it, but I'm unaware of it. But if I want to move that component, it doesn't drag the traces with it. It doesn't even try. I thought it did, but I forget a lot of things. So yeah, let's move this cap out of the way. Do we really have to? Probably not. Let's rotate it. Stick him up there. Out of the way. Fuck this trace off over to here. See, that's the annoying part too. It's not very smart with the auto stuff. You really got to hold its hand quite a bit. Have you ever used KiCAD Law? You can't argue with the price. Oh, hang on. No, you use KiCAD. Hang on, I'm thinking of Alex. Alex doesn't use KiCAD. Ben, I should say. I can send you my version. Have you hacked it? I've changed. Yeah, you got to keep. It's part of the reason I'm doing this is to refresh my memory on KiCAD in general. You can change footprints easy. On the schematic, but you're not changing them in a library. So you've got to think, do I want to do this universally or do I just want to change this one? Now, if you've done them universally, that means every time you choose that component from now on from that library, it's going to be different. And you might want that, you might not. You might just be changing it for some workaround on a board you're working on. Generally, it's good practice to just standardize everything, and that way you don't have to worry about it later. Just get all your libraries and everything sorted and how you like them. But sometimes scheduling makes that an issue. Might move this one down a bit. Let's center them on those traces. So then I can move this pad a bit further away. Let's move C67 down a touch. Align it with the other one. Center them on those traces. Still got a margin to that trace. Drag this trace down here. I think that one's still happy. Now it is. Make this one happy. Oh God, just select it, would you? Fuck. A little clunky. Speaking of AC/DC, they're in the background. Oh, what's going on here? Move that one down a bit. There we go. All right. We've achieved our further distance from that supply line. I think we should be right with that. That's a good 5 mil or something apart. I've spent hundreds of hours doing this. Yes. That's why I'm not back at work yet. There's the bell again, woman. She's ignoring me. Yes, I want to choose that track. Move it down here, because that'll give you an error when you run your rules check. It's easy to ignore it, but when you run your DRC, it can help you catch a lot of problems. I've got lots of errors. Well, 24, I started with 200. But warnings are stuff that means it'll probably work, like your silk screen overlaps. Yeah, see, this is funny too. Like that warning. Line on front silk screen C29. And then reference C29 line on silk screen. So that must be a bug. It's not ordering it in the same detail. It doesn't matter. I'm just picking up problems. Silk screen overlap is no biggie. It's kind of unavoidable when you reach a certain level of complexity. Density, I should say. This net class stuff, for some reason the vias were at 8 mil and now they're at 0.79. Clearance violation. Alright, so I think we moved something and now it's too close. This is clunky. So everywhere there's an arrow, it's a problem. Silk screen overlap. Really? With what? Ah, that's the U. Alright, so that's the diode. We don't need to show that, but if I move that now, run the DRC again, we've still got a problem. Okay, what's it overlapping? It's not overlapping anything. Silk screen overlap. Oh, that's relay. Relay 2 silk screen overlap. What's it overlapping? Let's enable the silk screen, eh? Maybe we'll be able to tell then. RL2. So if I... Nope. Fuck. If I move that text down here, rotate it, run the DRC again, we've still got 24 errors. What's it overlapping? See how fun this is? This is just out of curiosity. Oh, still got 24 errors. Don't know. But yeah, this is all the stuff that pops up as warning, so it's not really critical. Track has unconnected end. So that's already entering the pad. That will come through as a proper connection. Oh, hang on. We've got another little piece of trace there that's not required. So now I run that again. That was on the opposite face. I must have changed which side the track was on there at some point. I should have 23 errors now. Nope, still 24. Even though we got rid of that one. Oh, no, that was a warning. So yeah, we reduced the amount of warnings. Track has unconnected end. That one. Track. That's just a little dot trace that's just occurred when it's rerouted stuff automatically. So we should have I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. We should have 82 warnings now. 82 warnings. So it's a matter of going through until you got no warnings. But that doesn't guarantee you that everything's sweet. Orphan traces, that's a good name for it. Yeah, so like it'll say yes, DRC, excellent. Those two pads are connected. But if you fucked up your schematic or something and you shorted something out, it'll meet the design rule, but it won't meet the won't catch fire rules. So it only tells you via a set of rules, like if this thing complies or not. And you can define those rules yourself. But it doesn't necessarily mean your amp will work or won't have issues. God, I've been using Python too much. The zoom function's the opposite way around. All right, what's your problem? Error, drill out of range. 0.4 mil? Is that big enough for a VIA? Can I go through and change all the VIA sizes? No. I can't remember how to change them all at once. I think there is a way of doing it. .4. Nope. What have I done then? All right, let's just change the rules for a sec. Just get rid of all those ones and we can change it later. Minimum VIA diameter 0.4. Minimum annular width 0.2. I'd like to see bigger than that, but that'll probably break other rules. Minimum through hole. Minimum micro VIA. We don't have any micro VIAs. So now when I run the DRC, that's probably removed a bunch. 24 and 82. Nope, exactly the same. So what's your problem? Net class default min width 0.7. Actual 0.4. Okay, I just changed that. Is that classifying that as a hole instead of a VIA? Minimum VIA diameter 0.4. Oh, that's the overall. What was that before? 0.7. Minimum through hole 0.4. Which seems pretty small to me, so I might revise that later. But at the moment, I just want to know what errors are caused by my incompetence and which are caused by net classes. 7. So that removed a lot of them. All right. Clearance violation. Why'd that go away? Down here. All right, so that's within that. I don't know how it allowed that. Maybe we change the component footprint. You see here, you go up here and it gets too close to that. You go down here and it gets too close to that. But in the middle, we're okay. So run that again. We should have one less error. 2 less. Oh, there was probably a problem with that one as well. Oh, is my phone dead again? Camera dead again? What the fuck? One second, legends. Hey, we got a full battery. Just, I think I need more coffee. You want another coffee? No?
That's a limit.
Yeah, 3 shots, 4 shots.
Yeah, it's 4 shots in one day, bro.
Right. I only had 5 shots of coffee this morning.
That's enough.
That's not enough.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. How many shots of, well, you don't drink shots of espresso. I don't know. How do we compare that with drip coffee? How many milligrams do you have a day? I was watching Scruff Dog stream the other day. You guys that watch Big Clive will know Scruff Dog. And he was like on the fucking, is it THC? Just like vaping THC. And he was, I've never seen a bloke whose eyes look like they were going to fall out of his head and roll across the floor. And people say that weed doesn't impair you. Bullshit. It doesn't. Alex. This is painful. I'll be sending you Altium after the stream. That's, you sound like Lyle trying to get me onto DaVinci. It's not that it's better or worse. It's I don't have time to learn it. I'm sticking with what I know for the moment. First album was the best in my view, AC/DC. Fucking oath it was. I think there are some third-party plugins that can assist you with those irritations. Oh, yeah, but are plugins more annoying than not using plugins? I don't know. If you just install them and they just work, they'll be fine, but there's probably some fuck around that you got to do. All this open source stuff's the same, eh? None of it's easy. If there's a fix for something, it's harder to do the fix than just live with the fucking problem, unless you're a massive nerd that uses it 24/7. I have been using it 24/7 for the last 2 days, but... Oh, we're doing some new pickups there, Ben. Lyle's got a set. You'll do a great demo. I've very in awe of Lyle's sound sampling videos that he does, and especially when he's got one of the players in. It's so much work to do that stuff, man. It's just, it's a full-time job. I'm going cross-eyed. Don't know how you amp nerds follow this. Well, I don't know how you sit and wind pickups all day. I do one pickup and I'm sick of it. I'm rebuilding a capacitor decade box and we'll experiment with the best sounding values. There's a guy in Switzerland called Parco Casanovas, and he built an amp called the Tweakolator, where you can. It's basically like a voicing determination tool, so you could sit customers down and they could tweak like the bypassing on each stage, even the coupling caps on each stage. I think there was ways to reconfigure the topology of the amp in order to determine what amp they want built. Thought that was a real cool concept, but generally, if anyone's that picky, they'll probably be happy when they buy it, but they'll want to change stuff like in a month's time anyway. So exactly, but I'm faking. I know what Brad is doing. Is it working? Get videos coming. I wish I knew all this. Hey, I don't know it, Joe. I'm fumbling around in the dark here. Tried watching this on the tablet. Yuck, back to Roku on the 75-inch. Roku. You have enough of them and you won't be able to read anything, Jerry. So Alex, you making the amp for Ben? I often turn off the top or bottom layer so I have less visual clutter. Yeah, but I'm trying to think about 2 layers at once. Milligrams. I ain't no drug dealer. I drink 6 to 12 cups a day unless I have more. Hear that, woman?
What?
Stop talking to me like a teenager.
I'm working.
What? Oh, sorry. You working or are you doing netball? Lyle drinks 6 to 12 cups a day unless he has more.
Yeah, but Lyle, is every cup a 3 shots in 1 cup? No.
Yeah, but I've only had 2 cups.
Mate, you've had 6 shots of coffee already.
Yeah, but that's only 2 cups.
Yeah, his coffee. Lyle, I don't think your coffee would be as strong as ours. Something tells me.
I don't know. Alex only knows pints. He doesn't know cups.
Hi, Lyle.
Who doesn't want reverb in a Fender-based amp? This guy. I hope he doesn't anyway, because it hasn't got it.
What's my amp going to have?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's got a volume control and that's it.
Oh. I can't get like...
No, you're not allowed to have toys. No.
Hmm.
I've cut my coffee intake way back, 2 to 3 cups a day, none after 3 p.m.
I drink a litre of iced coffee. 2 cups, Lyle. That is a lot of coffee.
So, when you say cups, is that the 6 to 12? Like 6 normal cups, 12. Sorry, 6 of your
mugs.
cups, 12 of normal cups. Brad Lyle has recommended some tweaks, so I've made some small changes to the telly bridge pickups, trying to get closer to the real black pick guard sound. So you're talking about the like the Esquire and that. Relax. Yeah, we'll talk about that set of telly pickups from me, well, for Michelle when I get around to it. But yeah, no rush on that. All right, I'm going to make a cup as aforementioned. So yeah, give me a minute, legends. Intermission time. I don't have a fancy title. Hang on, I can make one. Let me make one. Hang on. Here we go. Text. Okay. Get a dog up your guts. Get a dog up your guts. Alignment, center, outline, yes. Select color, black. Okay. Outline size. Get a dog up your guts. Vertical alignment, center. Come on, vertical alignment, center. Gradient. So busy today. How about we go blue? Then we'll go So someone forgot to refill the coffee machine. Just waiting for it to warm up again. Yeah, just go back through the chat. It's awesome that you guys are chatting to each other. I was 50 years old before I started drinking coffee, Mark. Only when I moved to Alaska. Wow.
I was 30.
Yeah, well, yeah. You didn't drink coffee when we got together. It took you a couple of years anyway. I feel like I've turned her into a junkie. So I don't have a coffee fairy like Lyle does. I'm Michelle's coffee fairy, unfortunately, so. I was 50 years old. Sorry, I read that. Standard 8-ounce cup of drip coffee is equivalent to 1.5 cups of espresso. So each of my mugs is 3 shots. There you go. So suck it, Shell. I didn't read that bit. Coffee messed with my stomach until I realised I needed it until about 32 years ago, I guess. My dad used to make 3 to 4 12-cup pots of coffee a day. Wow. You're just not sensitive to it, Wes. Like, I can have a triple shot. Like, I literally go straight to bed after it and no problem at all. I'm not sensitive to it at all. Kind of sucks. I wish it gave me the pep up that everyone else seems to say it does. But I've got the added advantage that it doesn't make me poo my pants either, like some other people. Coffee, for some reason, has standardized on a 6-ounce cup, not 8-ounce, has it? Drip machines are 5-ounce cups. Huh. I'm drinking wine. Coffee stopped at 11 a.m. Yeah, I'm a bit like that. Whereas it's like coffee, tea, water, beer, whiskey. Generally. And restart the cycle again. Oh, I think Shell's on a meeting. She's gone into the spare room. I did ask her if she's got any meetings and she said no. So I thought, I'll do a live stream fucking about. I bought a 5-watt world mug, but didn't use it as much as I have to refill it more often. Too small. Oh, your back's fine. That's good to hear, Lyle. That's back to normal. Back to normal back. Nothing worse than back pain. Yeah, I threw my back out once. And I was doing this thing we call the doodle dance. It's when you're wearing underwear or not, and you sort of dance to, do the doodle dance. And I had to explain to my boss that I've thrown my back out doing the doodle dance. I think I've mentioned that on here before because it's funny. Didn't have problems. I was in the Navy. Even after I got out, used to drink 2 12-cup pots a day. Didn't have problems sleeping. I drank beers till I passed out. It's one way to counteract it, eh? Dental pain is close enough, though. Yeah, dental pain, it's just... There's something really unsettling about it. It's like... I don't know. It's hard to explain, but something feels very, very wrong when you have dental pain, and it's very unsettling. Like, you can break your arm, and it doesn't hurt you as much as a slightly painful tooth. You prefer tea to coffee? Yeah, we have tea here. I don't know what it was. During lockdown, I drank tons of tea. Fuck tons of it. I make weak coffee 2 cups all day. Strong coffee makes me bounce off the wall. See, I wish I had that. Is it in a bad way though, Joe? Is it like anxiety or do you just get hyperactive? Pardon me. If you get hyperactive, that sounds like fun. I'd be drinking it all day. Dental is worse than back. Gallbladder is worse than dental. Yeah. Don't know what's worse than gallbladder, but I assume it involves a hyena. Ooh, sun's coming in. Got to change my exposure. Nice day today. Partly cloudy. when I was in hospital after stabbing my foot, not on purpose, mind you, I dropped a knife on it and went straight through and cut all the tendons. No pain though, blood everywhere, more shock of having witnessed what just happened because it was on Christmas Day. But when I was in emergency, there was always that crying fuckwit that's just, I want to go home. Every time you're in hospital, there's that one fuckwit that just makes everyone's life hell. But anyway, ignoring him, or her, whatever it was, I don't know. It was some kind of hairy bush creature. Hard to tell. But there was a guy, probably in his late 60s, just seemed extremely tough. Turned out he was an ex-cop. And yeah, he had gallbladder issues. And you could tell he had a very high pain tolerance. Because he was leaning on the bed and he was like sitting over like that. And just very stoic look on his face, sort of like this. And then he got up and he started kneeling on the bed in all fours. And like, you don't do that unless somehow that offers slight relief. And that doesn't offer slight relief unless something's very wrong. And the nurse came over and I overheard her. And she said, what, out of a scale like 1 to 10, what's your pain level? And he just, 10. He looked at her and just like 10. I'm like, when someone acts like that and they say that, you know it's 10. And yeah, I got whisked away. I felt like he needed medical attention more than me, but I think because I had private health insurance, I ended up going through first. But yeah, I felt bad because they were like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain? I go 0. Literally, there's no pain at all, even though I just put a knife straight through my foot. Because I think being in the same room as that bloke, I felt like I had less pain because I was feeling for him more than for me. Poor bugger. I hope he's all right. I said, see you later. We had a short chat, but I think chatting was difficult, but I think it took his mind off it for a bit. Childbirth. Yeah, worst pain a human can experience. Particularly when they reach about 15, 16 years old. That's the most painful era. Another reason I shall endeavour not to become pregnant. Gout pain. Yeah, I've heard that. My uncle gets that from eating tomatoes, capsicum. So I think the coffee machine should be heated up by now. It runs out of water and then shuts itself down. Hot apple cider. Really? Hot dick and cider. That old joke. Jesus, you nearly chopped 2 fingers off with a chainsaw. No pain. Yeah, I found superficial, like, injuries to the dermis, I found aren't painful at all. They used to be when I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe you just build a tolerance as you get older, but I can gouge fuck out of myself and doesn't hurt. Like slip with a chisel and go right to the bone and it doesn't hurt. It just pisses blood everywhere. But yeah, maybe it was just what am I trying to say? Psychological thing when you're a kid and anything breaks your skin and you freak out. What weighs more, a shitload or a fuck ton? A fuck ton is probably double a shitload, I think, Alex. Pretty sure that's the standard. I drink tea at home, coffee at the office. Yeah, I used to drink tea at home and coffee at work before I got a coffee machine. Now I drink fuck out of coffee all day. As you get older, things stop working properly, so you got about 10 or 12 years. Thanks for that, Joe. Just what I wanted to hear. Hi, Brad. What are you making? G'day, James. I'm making a hybrid amplifier. Thanks for bringing me back down to earth. AB763 with long tail pair phase inverter and negative feedback on the clean channel. 5E3 with obviously no negative feedback, and cathode ion phase inverter on the dirty channel, and that is doctored for more gain, more distortion, and some form of master volume, of which I'm yet to determine, but I've got a pube on my mic, but I've got contingency plans designed into this thing so I can make a decision on the fly later on if something turns out to be useless. We've got birds nesting in our roof. On our roof. Little assholes, the Indian miners, they're everywhere. They're a pest here. As a 70s kid, I used to come home with pea gravel embedded in my knees. It would fall out in the bathtub. I don't remember it hurting. Yeah, one of my mates, I don't know what happened, but he, I think he fell over and knocked over their aquarium. Ended up with glass embedded in his knee and in his hand. And then that was like when he was, I don't know, 6, 7. And then when we were like 18, 19, we went out drinking and he tripped over something and cut his knee open and the bit of glass came out that had been there for 15 plus years. I was like, yay! Oh, it was funny. He knew it was there. I would have just cut the fucker out, yeah. At 40, your arms get shorter? What do you mean? What does that mean? Give the miners shiny toys and they'll befriend you instead of dive bombing. They don't dive bomb us here. There's two types of miners here. There's the Indian miners who we actually have a license to kill. You actually get, I think they give you like $1 a dead bird or something here, or $5 a dead bird. You can catch them with a what they call a Judas trap, where you get a live one and then you put it in a little fenced off bit. And then the others are like, what's going on, bro? What are you doing in the fence? Why are you in there? So they walk in to see what's up and they get trapped. You end up with like 15, 20 in there before they figure out what's going on. And you stick them in the freezer. Or I think you take them in live. And you get a cash reward for killing them. Is it still illegal to kill cockies? Yes, it is. They are protected. So yeah, those miners, the Indian miners, are invasive, and that we're actually getting forest die-off in some areas near the Northern Road in Penrith, near where they've just leveled it anyway because of the bloody airport going in. But long story short, these miners are very territorial, and they're displacing native species that know that there's grubs around the roots of all the trees and to eat them. So what's happening is these grubs are now overtaking and eating the root structures of these trees and causing dieback in some areas because the stupid Indian miners don't know that they are supposed to eat them. So we've either got to teach the Indian miners to eat these bugs, or we've got to get rid of them to bring the native birds back that know to eat them. That's the story I've heard anyway. Magpies, yes, you make friends with magpies. There's some around here that they've recognized my head. They actually recognize people. And around here, because I'm nice to them, I don't like feeding them, but I am nice to them. When they have a new nest of fledglings, once they're, mobile and once they've fledged, they actually bring them down and introduce them to me, which is kind of cool. You'll just be in the backyard and then they'll all sit down, and if I'm just sitting there reading a book or something, they'll all flock around me and stand about a meter away from me and just hang out. And yeah, they do bring you gifts though. Usually they steal my pegs though. There's a couple of birds here that love to steal the pegs, the clothes pegs on the clothesline. I mean, so that the lyrebirds steal the blue pegs. Some of them, like the more teal coloured ones, they're not blue enough for them, so they leave them behind. But then there's a couple of wattlebirds here that have started stealing just random colour pegs. I watched them the other day because my clothesline's literally right there. Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of wattlebirds. Usually the place is pretty much overrun by wattlebirds, which are very territorial as well. Oh, the eyes start getting old. You can't hold things far enough to see them. Gotcha. All right, enough talking shit. I've got to go make this coffee now.
And we're back. What am I wearing headphones for? Headphones. So yeah, wedgies. Wedgies can take a big, well, reasonable sized dogs. Got feral pigs, cats, chickens. I did notice some pig rooting. You know, when you can see where pigs have been rooting around. In Japan, near one of the shrines. And we went to the Nara Deer Park, as you probably saw on the community page photo. Let me see if I got that. We carried this camera around with us everywhere. It's nice and compact. But I had the 12 to 40mm lens on it. Shell was taking some nice photos. She's still not quite across all the manual settings, but I've set it in like aperture priority and said, look, if you want to be blurry background, set it to a low number. If you want it to be non-blurry background, set it to a high number. And that she got some pretty good shots just doing that. There was one shot which was literally in a train station, like in a subway underground, as subways tend to be. And all they sold was film cameras. Insane. So we're back to photo time. There's nothing else to bloody... I couldn't be fucked looking at that amp for the rest of the day. Struggling to pay enough attention to it. I'll do some more tonight while Shell's at netball, but... After staring at the computer for the last 15 hours, I probably want to just chill out for a bit. I think the beard's got to go too. Every time you take a sip, you end up with that shit. Pain in the ass. There I am. Cold Chisel is way better than Bruce Springsteen. Cold Chisel shits all over Bruce Springsteen. Koi. Listen to him slurping. Where am I looking? I'm trying to show you guys a photo evidence of Panny Boy being in focus at least once. And that ain't it. This little thing. It was a little truck just making waffles. They're tiny little vans that they got. So cool. They sound more or less the same. They do fucking not. Trying to find the deer park. There it is. Look, Panny Boy in focus. Can you believe it? Look at that detail. See, it can focus when it wants to. It doesn't have animal lie detector or anything fancy like that, but... So this is Nara Deer Park. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's a whole city filled with tame deer. And they just hang out. I thought I had some video on here, but it must be on my phone. And yeah, that you can buy these little biscuits. And you go up and you feed them. You feed them the little bickies. And they're just like special biscuits they've made, and the proceeds go towards the park. They've just made them out of grain and a binder. But that's the forest there. Shell, of course, took a photo right when I was looking at someone that was having a religious experience. But with the Shinto religion, there's a belief that people's spirits go into like non-sentient things like the trees or the nature or even in animals, that kind of thing when they die. So this person may have spread someone's ashes there at some point. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a pretty in the scheme of things, it's a pretty wholesome religion. But yeah, here's a little deer. They just hang out, and if they're hungry, they come up to you for a bicky, or they go and graze. They can get a bit pesky if you tease them. But one thing they do is before you give them a little bicky, they're trained to bow at you. So they bow at you, and then you bow at them, and then you give them a bicky. Classic. And then it's just them hanging out on the road. All the cars know they're there, and they slow down. Yeah, pretty cool place. He looks a bit scruffy. They do treat them. I think I think it started as a like a what do you call it? Not regeneration, like recovery. Like they get ones that were displaced or not doing very well, and they'd treat them, whatever. So it was at Hiroshima, where they got all the monuments and stuff. It was actually very depressing being there. Wasn't prepared for how emotional it would be to be there, and just think about all the horrible shit we do to each other. Pretty amazing place. Didn't feel real good taking photos and stuff there either. It felt a bit, don't know, didn't feel right, so I didn't take many. Anyway, that was the panty boy being in focus for once in its life. So apparently a few more, I don't know if you're still there, Dr. Gear, but new segment. Apparently another music shop shut down in Sydney, and I think another one or two in Perth, which makes me wonder if there's any future at all in music instrument sales now that all the companies are gone straight to the public, so no middleman. Music retail, oh fuck off, that was like years ago. Sanity music instrument store closed. Tarama, wait, venue music, a bit behind the times. Oh, I can't remember the name. Was it Sunshine Music? I don't know. Six could offer more. He's got his finger on the post there. On the post? On the pulse. He's got his finger on the pulse there. But yeah, we're losing like a music shop every couple of months here. Makes me wonder what'll happen once this fuck all left. It'll just be like Walmart. You'll have your big boys that have everything under the sun, and there'll just be no little shops at all. So I guess I'm not sure if the retail thing's going to keep working. I mean, it doesn't work for me now. I just use it as expensive shop decoration. So yeah, I may scale back after this lease is over and just go back to servicing. But my school of thought was, for a small workshop, it costs about the same as the shop I've got now. So I may as well do some retail on the side and have a nice, comfortable, air-conditioned shop instead of paying the same amount of rent and having some hole-in-the-wall factory unit that probably actually costs more. Basically, for the workshop, unless it's at home, it's either going to be a large factory unit that you're paying $30,000-$40,000 a year for, or it's going to be a tiny, almost like a storage unit, which probably doesn't have windows, probably has one power outlet that you'd probably still be paying like $10,000 to $15,000 a year for anyway. So you may as well spend the extra, maybe $5-10 grand a year to have a shop, with air conditioning and stuff, because we have to consider the environment that the instruments are in. I mean, if you get a factory unit that you'd find like a small mechanic shop in, or I don't know, maybe a tiny joinery shop, you know, your average say 200 square meter factory unit with maybe with a mezzanine for storage, they're not going to be air conditioned. So they do make mustache mugs, Brad. What's a mustache mug? I got to look this up now. Mug. It's just a mug with a mustache on it. Oh, I got it. So it's got a little closed off bit. Oh, that looks a bit sus though, doesn't it? Looks like a fleshlight or something. What was I saying? So yeah, let's look at real estate in Sydney. Commercial real estate. Let's look at this area still instead of moving to the city. I think the smaller shops with people who actually give a fuck and know how and know shit are always going to be around in some way or another. Yeah, but the problem is we have to make a certain amount of money to be able to maintain a lease. Everyone keeps telling me to get an assistant, but that means I'm paying $300 plus more every single day to have that person there. Some days I only make $300, you know? Most days I make a lot more than that, but some days all you make is $300. Or if nothing, some days is zero turnover. Like if you've got a fucking problem you can't figure out, you're sitting there for 12 hours trying to figure it out. And this is a bit where everyone tells me to charge them for that money. Yeah, sure. They just won't pick up the item. For lease. Let's look at my area. Emu Plains. There'll be a whole lot that don't have any pricing. Sort by. No, cancel. Big corporate joints. Factory, warehouse, shop and retail. Showrooms, bulky good. Price range. Are you telling me you can't sort by anything? You can't sort by anything. Oh no, here we go. You can't sort by price. What a shit website. Fucking. Why does everything suck so much still? Everything sucks. So you got these monster factory units, but you can't sort by price. And this isn't Emu Plains. What is this? This website's dog shit. 24,000 in Emu Plains, really. Let's try again, shall we? Emu Plains. Sort by, nope. Contact agent. That means you can't afford it. It means it's unreasonably expensive. So 40 grand plus GST, 50 grand. So this literally looks like just up the road. Oh no, that's Penrith. Rising up. What am I Google mapping? I'm looking at real estate. So yeah, this is a bit cheaper than what I pay. Yeah, you guys know my shop, right? It's well lit. It's got windows all around it. It's got air conditioning, carpet. It's plastered. It's got a bathroom. This is about pretty similar price. That's what you get. A box for storage only. So that's why I'm in the shop I'm in. That's fucking ridiculous. It's basically a parking garage. Ridiculous. So what's this one? 28. So that's about 10 grand more than mine. And now it's a non-climate controlled factory unit. So that's not really suitable either. Because the acoustic guitars will die. So you see the pickle that I'm in? Mr. Ply and Wood, yeah, they went out of business. 80 grand. $54, $48, $29. What's this one? $34, too much. So yeah, it's just an empty concrete box. No climate control. A lot of wasted space because it's a tall unit. It is a weird amp video. You're right. I'm looking at every aspect of the business, Lyle. Contact agent, contact agent, contact agent. Okay, this place pops up quite often. It's a weird sort of place. I was looking at this 20 years ago. It's a weird sort of place. That looks like water on the inside of that window. That's not, doesn't bode well. Penrith Small Business Centre. Like, would you want to get up in the morning and come to that? I probably wouldn't. That's depressing. And that is going for what? That's cheap. It's about half the price of mine. A bit more than half the price of mine. But seriously, would you want to go to that? Would you wake up and I'll go to my little fluorescent lit box and slave away that no one will ever come to because it's fucking creepy and weird. So that's why I am where I am, because it was a very good deal. But there's no guarantee that the next place will be a good deal. So I've got to make a decision as to what to do. Just stay there forever and just keep doing what I'm doing, which means some retail. Not necessarily, but... Or should I just fuck off all the retail and turn it into a whole shitload of benches and get some other techs in? Maybe that's the thing. Just become a tech fucking hive. It's just an office. Oh, that's per month. Fuck that. Service though. That's nice. What's this place? No price. Get fucked. So when I was looking for the lease, this place that I've got now, I looked at a few others, and the real estate agents really are the fucking scum of the earth. Part of the reason I rented this place is because the real estate agents are fucking legends. They're like a small business, family business, and they've become like friends. I've serviced their hi-fi shit and stuff, and their son's a musician. He brings his guitars and amps in for service, and we go see him play every now and then. Cool people. The bloke who's the landlord of the shop, cool guy. He works upstairs, cool guy, comes down, we chat for 20 minutes out the front about just stuff. But most of the real estates are scummy little fucking entitled cockheads. So you go out there and you measure the area of the shop, and you find out that it's actually advertised as like 50% bigger than it is. They're not upfront with the pricing. They'll give you two different prices once they have a look at you and suss you out. They'll try and get more out of you. They'll ask you about your business and see if they can. That's part of the reason they say contact agent, because they're trying to suss you out and how much they can squeeze out of you. They're just scum suckers, all of them. It sickens me to even talk to them. Most of them are just, they make you feel uncomfortable just being in their presence. And that's why they say contact agent, because they're trying to suss you out how much they can milk you for before they give you a price. Hickey's Lane. I've got a mate that works there. 28, 125 square meters. You want to give me a photo of the interior, champ? Nah. That's all you get. But a customer's going to come here? I don't know. It's only just built. Look, it's still got the protectors on the roller doors. That area is pretty sketchy too. It is just down the road from a brewery though, which is nice. The old rusty penny. What's this? Cafe? Oh no, it's just a little postcard bullshit. So yeah, that's pretty modern. Hard to tell, but I guess it's just an empty box. Looks like it's got a mezzanine because they show stairs. So what are they quoting? 127 square meters. 125. So which is it? Does it really matter? No. 125. There we go. Unit 6 or 7. So one of these two without a mezzanine. And it looks like this is the only one with a bathroom. Really? Ah, it's a communal toilet. That's awkward. You know what? All of these factories are going to have people working there, and who knows how clean they are. So that's not a great deal for a non-air conditioned concrete box with no toilet or kitchenette. So what I'm telling you, champions, is that where I'm at now is about as good as it gets. So if we had to move out, we'd have to either seriously change what we do, or see Alex, get back to work, or go back to home, or whatever. I don't know. I'd like to see, you know, if we can make a bit better a profit now that we've set the shop up. It did take like 3 years to fill it with stock and shit because all of that came out of my income. But as soon as you start stocking a new line and the distributors don't see any sales from you for a month or so, they start bugging you, and you're constantly pressured to spend money. Every time they bring out a new product, some of them turn over products very quickly in models. So you'll stock one and then literally you'll buy it that month, and then next month the fucking new model will come out, and you'll tell, oh, that's why they were pushing that model, to get rid of the old stock. And now you've got version 2 that no one wants because everyone wants version 3 now. Just dirty, scummy little things like that you've got to live with. It's just the standard fare for the business, which sucks. And that happens like through most of them. It's just a constant pressure to spend more money. So yeah, it can be pretty stressful trying to do that while you're trying to focus on repairs and ordering parts and doing quotes and marketing and fucking YouTube and I don't know. I think what I might have to do is incorporate. So instead of just being a sole trader, become an actual company, limited liability company, and hire someone to do the internet side of stuff, maybe editing, that kind of thing. But then how do you find someone that's naturally good at that but also knows about musical instruments? It's pretty tough being in a specialized business. All the reasons why I dropped the news shit even then. Everything is so dead across the industry. God only knows how long I'll stick around for. Yeah, it feels a bit like that, eh? Ah, that was your front man, was it, Ben? I sent Alex my 100-watt front man. He suggested turning it into a Mark II-C. As you do. But he's ended up starting with a new chassis. It's become a custom build. Wow. You let me know if you want a real timber cabinet for that, Ben. Might be able to send you one. Needs padded walls, yeah. Move to Adelaide. I don't know where you're going to find work though. Well, even Adelaide real estate's gone through the roof recently. They were one of the last ones to have the fucking boom. And, yeah. Start Brad's Guitar Pub. I was honestly thinking about doing that, Lou. Looking at, not a pub, but having a regular meetup with just like-minded people that follow the page and whatever. Maybe once a month at the local pub, O'Donoghue's. Pardon me. And just talk about industry and tech and make connections and have a beer and talk shit. What's once a month on a Thursday night or something? We'll make it a Thursday night because everyone's busy on the weekends. Thirsty Thursday, we'll call it. With Brad's Guitar Garage. Are you getting all the rebates, etc. from the government, mate? There are none that I'm eligible for, Ben. I've looked into it. Got nothing from COVID. Actually, I reckon I do need a cab. I was going to reuse the combo, but I have a 412 ready to use. Fuck, you know what? You know what? You're in luck, mate. Have I got my pass license installed? Yes. If you want I'd have to check the dimensions. I think it was from Mark III, but if the chassis width is the same, which I think they are, we might be able to just run one of these out for you because we've already got the programs and everything for the CNC, you name it. It's got a built-in reverb tank cutout, which you may or may not want to use. Doesn't matter. Leave it there anyway. It's like weight relief. Oh, God, I can't find anything. Documents. Poacher. BGG. Mesa head cab. Too weak for the iron, yeah. The alley's too thin. So here's the design. That suits the stupid Mesa suspension mounting things, but that was one I built for a customer. It was changing his Mark III from a combo to a head. That's got the reverb tank cut out. Mounted the reverb tank inverted from the bottom side upwards, screwed it into the bottom, put a cover plate over the springs. That was for the connectors, clearance for the connectors. And that was the front grille, which... How did I mount that? I must have put cleats on there out of pine. I think I just sent this to my brother for the CNC program. Out of... No, I think it was 15mm birch ply. Might have been 19mm, 18mm. I knew when you first told me, but I didn't want to shit on your dream. Maybe if I was 6 figures in debt, it would probably be easier. Yeah, I think that makes everything a lot harder, just mentally as well. If anyone wants to donate a couple of $100,000 to 6, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Yeah, but I ended up covering the grill with the cane, you know, the rattan style stuff. What else have I got on here, cabinet wise? No, I just doxed the customer. That's great. Where's my preview panel gone? Preview pane, there it is. So this was the... Yeah, I can just tweak the length of it. That's not a problem. Tweaking those sizes is a piece of piss. Alex has left us, but just let him know that he can send me the chassis dimensions. I'll send him a shop drawing of the box. We'll just make sure it all is going to work. Now, I know it's a bit dark, but this was the concept for my first little high gain head. Anodized aluminium front and back grille. And black Duratex coating. Nice and open. You see the valves glowing. Plenty of airflow. Compact head. Single channel high gain fucking weapon. That'd be cool. Looks a bit dark there because of the colours, but yeah, that's 3mm anodized aluminium, which I get my mate to laser cut for me. There's the chassis. So that would be pretty cool. What else have I got? Gonna need a front man sized head. Problem is, I keep going to call you Murray. Ben, is there's lots of different front man amps and chassis sizes over the years. The one he showed me looked like it was a flat traditional Fender style shape. whereas most of them are trapezoidal fucking horror shows for the solid state stuff. I know all front ends are solid state, sorry. But yeah, Alex can give me the dimensions. I'll discuss that with him. And I can discuss finishing options with you, Ben. Shipping it's not going to be fun, but whatever. I'd send stuff through Sendle. They're actually pretty reasonable. I was pretty surprised. The last Mark Base combo I sent out was it's like 60, 70 bucks, and that was heavier because it was an actual amp rather than an empty box. I'm still paying off credit card debt from COVID. Fuck. So I've got no debt. I don't want to talk about finances too much, but I swore off credit cards when I was in my 20s. I'm like, I'm never getting one of these again. It's fucking ridiculous. Particularly if you have to use it out of necessity, because that means your chances of paying it off later are fucking slim, which I found the hard way. So I have not got any personal loans or anything. The only debt I'm in is stuff that I've ordered and have like 60, 30-day account for. Yes, you do have the best in the business working on it, Ben. Should be a weapon. A lot of companies did go down, a lot did very well. Companies like Amazon and fucking places like that did quite well out of it. I'm sure they're not fucking stinging. I need to shut down the aperture a bit. It's getting a bit bright in here. But yeah, I refuse to use Amazon or any of those fucking scum companies for anything. People keep giving me links of stuff to buy on Amazon. Like, nah, won't touch them. Chopping down a combo to make a head, it's a bit of a fucking nightmare, to be honest, Ben. And it's just chipboard shit anyway. I wouldn't bother. I'd probably fall apart on you. 6 says, yeah, the stores near me have started going under, including my 2 nearest competitors who also specialised in used and vintage gear. I'm up to the neck in debt due to various factors. I'm wondering if being closer to the city is actually worse because everyone's paying more rent. And you don't have the retiree market and the hobbyist market in there because everyone in there is working and they're barely making ends meet. Out here, probably 50% of my business is just hobbyists and old blokes that are just love playing around with gear. Some of them are really good players. Some of them are quite average, but they're having fun. But in there, like, well, the working musicians basically have no money at all because our modern society doesn't value art at all. Like, paying cover charge for a venue, people whinge about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, these people are dedicating their lives to producing entertainment for you, and you don't want to pay a fucking $15 cover charge. Like, many towns here have an arts district or makers district with subsidised rents. They're always looking for specialty tenants. Don't know about Australia. Generally, any of the maker districts around here are just venture capitalist fucktards that just want to make a fuck ton more rent on one venue than they could otherwise. So, yeah, I don't think it's a thing. I mean, I could look into it, but I don't want a shared space either. Fuck that. People stealing shit and making a mess. Hey man, the New South Wales Physical Sciences Fund is for small businesses, 200 grand to 2 million for startups, businesses for manufacturing, scaling, and has a lot more stuff that might be relevant. Closes in 5 days. Oh, you left me so much time to read it, Ben. Anyway. What else did I do? Oh, Mesa Style 1x12. This I actually showed the mortise and tenons on, showing the construction. Well, now that you thoroughly depressed me, I'm going to go grab a shower and get to bed. No worries. No worries, Lyle. Anytime, mate. Oh, I don't show the front grille. Where's the front grille? Have I hidden the layer? Nope. Did I do the baffle separate? That's a very unimpressive drawing. Oh, it was an open back to suit the DC-20. Anyway, Ben Murray, give us a yell if you want to do some measurements and we can do that. I can't guarantee when it'll happen because it relies on my brother's schedule as to when it can get cut. But either way. I suppose I better get back to this board, eh? Really don't want to. I'm staring at the same thing. You start to hate a project. After a while from staring at it. Not bad performance for a laptop there. No, this is my desktop computer at home. It's dual Xeon thing or whatever. Old school, but I'll be in for the pub meetup. Where are you, Andy? I'm always driving training it between Sydney and Katoomba. Been building amps and pedals for the last 15 years. Nice. Be nice to chat with the folk who actually care. Another thing we might do, Andy, is you probably be on this, but we might do an amp building or a pedal building course in the future where you get to take home a bunch of pedals or an amp of some description. I want to come up with a design that's versatile, but relatively easy to build, which would be cool. And that could become a kit in the future, or at least a something where you buy the circuit board and then you get a list of components with links to buy them for yourself. Because a lot of these parts, like transformers, unless I'm getting them custom wound, there's really no advantage to buying in bulk because you don't get a discount, which is one of the very few industries where that pretty much doesn't happen. Thanks in advance for tomorrow's vid. How do you know? You might be having a day off, Lou. Yeah, I'll speak to Alex as well. Maybe we'll do a three-way. It's been a while since we've had a three-way. I'll pay cover if there's a band, DJ, etc. Yeah. Okay, so that is a thing that's common in Japan. A lot of the places will have a cover charge when they're just a bar. I think part of that is people trying to get in there and use the toilets. And often it's in areas where there's a lot of drunks, like Golden Gay or what's that other place? Piss Alley. A lot of those places don't have toilets, and that's why it was called Piss Alley. But yeah, a lot of the places in Tokyo tend to have cover charges in the busier touristy areas for that reason. Or people go in and buy like one drink. So now they've got like a lot of these places where there's a whole shit ton of bars next to each other. People bar hop and have one drink in each place. So and the drinks aren't very expensive. They're pretty cheap. Some of them are like, like $4, $5 for a beer, right? So it's chump change compared to here. Like even a shit beer, schooner of shit beer here is like $15 these days. It's fucking ridiculous. So people would bar hop, take up a seat, only buy one drink, and then fuck off. So they brought in the cover charge, so they at least get their pound of flesh out here, which is fine. I mean, I was happy to pay it. It was usually like $6, $7, if that, per person, or sometimes per group. Each place has their own rules. I really liked about Japan the unapologetic nature of the businesses there. They're just sort of like, this is our rules. If you don't like it, fuck off. As a result, there's some with some pretty bad Google reviews because the tourists are entitled cockfaces. But generally, they're just sort of stuck to their guns, like this is our rules. If you don't like it, go away. As particularly a retail store owner, people tend to impose their expectations on you and tell you how you should run your business. Like at the moment, I'm open 6 days a week and 9 to 5 weekdays. If someone needs to come outside of that time, I tell them, yeah, just let us know roughly when, but just know that I'll be gone by 6 or whatever. Because what people often do is arrange a time and then they just don't turn up and don't answer their phone. But I'm thinking about changing it so I get another day off in order to do shit like I'm doing now. Not a video, that's wasting time. But no offense. But to do the developmental work, because I'm seeing some of my colleagues producing these products and stuff, and I'm getting a little bit jealous, to be honest, champions. I want to have a few products out there that I can stand behind. But you need time to do that, and I can't do that while the shop's open because you need unbroken attention spans. So maybe I'll go to like being open, say, Wednesday to Saturday or something, or maybe Tuesday to Saturday. And that will give me another day, full day to do work in the garage too. I mean, I do respray work and stuff, and trying to fit that in after work is pretty easy in summer when you got the extended daylight hours and warm weather. But in winter, your body clock sort of shuts down in winter, and if you keep pushing yourself to work when it's dark, you get a bit depressed, or I do anyway. So I don't like working too long after dark, if that makes any sense. So having an extra day off would be good. But the problem is, even being open Saturdays, I wasn't open Saturdays initially. I was just 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. I think it was 9 to 6 Monday to Friday. But then everyone just started rocking up on the weekends, and they're like, oh, you're not here. I'm going, no, I'm closed. I'm like, oh, why are you closed? It's like, because I'm closed, because that's my hours. What? And then there was an expectation for you to be open on a Saturday because a lot of people couldn't get there through the week. So I thought that's understandable. Maybe I'll do that. But then people are like, oh, no, I can't get there before 5 on a Saturday. So they want me to be open till like 6 on a Saturday just to suit them. The more you give, the more they take. So I'm thinking I might lay down the law a little bit to get some of my life back, which might be good. That one's really annoying me, that link. Can I route that differently? Probably can't. If I change that one, no, that's got to change there anyway. Where's that go? If I change that one to the other face, and I can change, delete that, and my orphan trace, which is a perfect term for it. Thank you, Lyle. Get rid of my orphan trace. Now I'll have to have a look and make sure. Oh, no, have we got the clearance? No, we don't have the clearance. See? Should have left it alone. It's fun, isn't it? Seasonal affective disorder, yeah. Oh, you got to go, Ben. See you, mate. No dishonor with jumpers. That's what it feels like. Every time I use a VIA, I'm dishonoring the gods of circuit board layout. So I tried to make all the heavy traces carrying the big voltages. Try to make them happen on the bottom of the board. Keep them away from the components. So blue's the bottom. I think it's about as good as it's going to get, champions. So, because I got frustrated with the layout on this, I had to delete all the traces multiple times and start again and really think hard about where the components were going. and put them near their relative triode or potentiometer connectors. See you, Dustin. Everyone's dropping off. I might piss off soon too. It's 3 p.m. here. G'day, Ted. Good to see you too, mate. Well, your name anyway. Ugh. Victor's off. See you, mate. Everyone's dropping off. Bambiel. How you going, legend? See, it looks really dramatic here, but when we look at the 3D viewer, it doesn't look that much more complex, and it probably looks simpler than most of the boards. I'll remove the components for you. So there's the silk screen. It really doesn't look that bad, eh? Big bulbous pads. Messa would be jealous, yeah. I'm building this thing to be able to withstand servicing, so. See, that's not too bad, eh? I'm stressing about it, but when you look at one layer at a time, it doesn't look too bad. I've put extra large pads for durability around the wire. So that's only like 1.5 mil. That's 0.8 mil. I probably could open them up a little bit. But on the higher power resistors, you can see the drilling's larger to suit the larger leads, and the pads are quite good. In my past, I did another board. I wasn't real happy with the pad size, but fortunately that was only a pissy little pedal routing thing. Yeah, branding and version control. So yeah, I could just put the brand across there, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to go for the almost like the Vox look, all the components aligned where I could, but then the logical stuff like the droppers to be dropping to each cap, you know. Try to make it as logical as I could. But then I had to put the relays near where they were doing what they were doing, not like a Mesa where your channel switching relay would be over here and then all the run wires all the way over here. The more I look at circuit board layout and the problems therein, the more I'm starting to believe that Mesa is just relying on the auto routers. I honestly think that's the issue. I mean, you guys saw how it arranged my board before I manually did it earlier in the stream. That bore a pretty heavy resemblance to Mesa designs. So yeah, Jim, how you going, legend? The righteous never tire. I will remove every via from this board before I am done, or before I sleep. No sleep till the via-less board. I'll just remove the silk screen. Show you that board again. Does that still show the silk screen? Oh, it still does. I don't think you can turn the silk screen off in here. Layers. View. Preferences. What's in preferences? Oh no, that's just the overall 3D viewer. General. Show. Here we go. No, still does. Oh no, there it goes. Alright, so that's a board without the silk screen. So you can see the traces a bit better. It's not too bad. I'm probably stressing about nothing. So you can see the vias. Well, I keep saying vias. They're like little padless tubes because you don't solder to them. It just enables you to pass from one side of the board to the other. See that? And then if you look on the other side of the board, there's those two traces. So they're just using that via to jump to the other side, pass that trace on the other side of the board, and then come back. But yeah, it becomes a bit of a game to see if you can get rid of all of them. Here's with the silk screen. I tried to align all the caps the same way, logically, but I had to rotate them for layout reasons. That's the foot switch supply caps, which is a strange sort of capacitively coupled DC supply, pulling from the heaters but still having ground reference. Anyway, I'll get there. 0 ohm resistors exist too, yeah. But do they make them about a foot long so I can go from this end of the board to this end of the board? Because that was what a few of the traces had to be. The biggest pain in the ass ones was running the lines for the relays because they all switch at once. And running the signal output from the AB763 channel to the output to its phase inverter. That was the biggest pain in the ass. Because they run all the way this way. Generally, you try and do all your vertical traces in one side and then all your horizontal traces on the other. I kind of only remembered that rule once I was halfway through laying it out, though. Yeah, auto routing isn't a design technique. It's really quite useless. In fact, I don't think... Does it even auto route? No. I don't think KiCAD even can auto route. Oh, what are the options in here? Jump over obstacles. Oh, God. Walk around, shove, highlight collisions. Optimize entire track being dragged. Can you imagine what it would do if we enabled that? Let's save this and try it. Let's drag this track and see what happens. Holy fuck, it found another way through. Maybe it isn't too bad. That's actually... yeah, look, let's route it down here. Let's do a Mesa board. There you go. Look forward to getting sued by Randall Smith. So yeah, it's technically that works, but it's not optimized. Interesting. KiBot is an auto route plugin for KiCAD. Yeah, but is it any good, Ben? Like, how does it know what stuff you're not supposed to route next to other stuff? You know? Anyway, we've been streaming for 3 hours now. That fucking went by like a flash. So I might piss off, leave you to your, well, Tuesday evening over there. Or Wednesday arvo over here. So thanks for joining us, legends. It's good to get back into the swing of doing some bits and pieces, but yeah, it'd be nicer to be on holiday still. Wouldn't it? I've got some long overdue videos I need to get done. Parts that I've partially edited, some that I haven't even filmed yet. Amps I've got to restore. It's just so much to do. I just want to go drink it in izakaya. And eat barbecued meat. But anyway, I'll try and make the next one more interesting, legends, and get some actual work done. Hopefully we'll have time next week to just go back to doing some diagnosis streams where we just pump through some assessment work and actually feel like we're getting something achieved for once. And thanks for joining us. Thanks for holding on during the break. It was pretty much impossible to... I mean, if you guys watch my Japanese, the Tokyo video, you notice there's a lot of video glitches and stuff in that. That's partially because of the poor little laptop that I edited the video with, and partially, I think, because of it trying to re-upload a few times might have corrupted the video. So yeah, we did what we could. We couldn't live stream much, but hopefully it was enough to tide you over until I got back anyway. But now we're down to the real stuff. So hopefully I'll get inspired. Still waiting for that inspiration, and we can get some good shit done. So good night, everyone. Take it easy. Get a dog up here.